I've decided to cycle every single day for the next 30 days. Not outside, because it's December and it's really cold. But I'm going to be using Zwift, a virtual cycling world where apparently people absolutely just love pain. I want to see if in 30 days it can actually make me stronger, fitter, and maybe even happier, or if it will break me. So I'll track everything from my weight, my FTP, my VO₂ Max, and more generally just if someone my age, nearly 30, can actually do this every day sustainably. So this is my current training schedule. I normally cycle about 2 times a week, but the gym and jiu-jitsu definitely get priority. And if I'm feeling tired and need to miss one of those sessions, it will definitely be the cycling. And this is what it's going to look like now. So I'll still try and keep some of the jiu-jitsu and the gym sessions in particular to keep those arms strong. But I will, without a doubt, be cycling every single day regardless. So on day 1, I'm weighing in at just over 85 kilos. And for reference, I'm about 5'11", with a body fat percentage of just over 21%. With all the measurements taken, now it's time to hop on the bike and do a fitness test. I'm about to do an FTP ramp test, which should give me an indication of how fit I am before I start this. So essentially it starts off really easy, and then it gets harder every minute to the point where you can't do it anymore. And that gives you some indication of what you should be able to do for an hour, which is your functional threshold power. We're only at 200 and this is already getting hard. Get some extra horsepower. So I've recovered from that a bit. That was actually way harder than I thought it would be. My FTP since the last time I've done it has actually gone up, so it's starting at 210 now, which I don't really have much perspective of whether that's good or not. I think it's probably about average, and we'll see how good it gets over the next 30 days. So we'll just see how much we can improve that. Because it's already pretty bad enough going from cycling twice a week to 7 times a week, I'm not going to be able to go really hard for each session. So I'm going to be following a concept called the 80-20 rule.
What have you found to be the best approaches for improving VO₂ Max?
Think about building a pyramid. The VO₂ Max is the height of the pyramid. The key for building a high VO₂ Max is saying, I'm going to spend about 80% of my aerobic training time in zone 2.
So for me, that's going to work out like every 5th ride will be pretty hard. The other 4 should be in that zone 2 range, really. Zwift actually makes this pretty easy. They categorize stuff into like VO₂ workouts or zone 2 workouts, and it's all based on that FTP test we did 2 days ago. So that was way harder than I thought it was going to be, actually. So that was supposed to be one of the easy ones, but the cool thing about Zwift is you can lower the bias, so you can essentially make it a bit easier for yourself. If you were struggling, which I definitely was today, maybe it's because I've been to the gym this morning, or maybe it's because it's 3 days in a row, but pretty worrying if I'm already struggling on day 3. I really didn't think it would be this hard already, but maybe I spoke too soon. I've got a friend with me. Ready, boy. Ready, boy. Hey. Today is day 8. We've done our first full week. It's getting pretty tough. My arse hurts just all the time, which is nice. Yeah, it's kind of like my coccyx. Like the base of my spine is painful. Today we're going to try our first like tempo ride, which is kind of not zone 2 and not at your FTP, or not really hard. It's kind of should be like somewhere just underneath. So that's going to be interesting. But I'm basically just trying to keep switching it up because I'm getting a little bit bored of cycling. Luckily, Zwift has loads of different workouts, so I'm just kind of picking from them now and whichever takes my fancy. One thing I'm definitely noticing is it's way easier if I do the cycling earlier in the day for me to do the other things that I want to do, so like jiu-jitsu in the gym and things. If I put it off, it's then much harder for me to try and get on the bike later. It takes a lot more effort for me to do it, whereas if I just wake up, jump straight on the bike, it's normally a little bit easier. So maybe I'll have to change the way I do that. So I'm always riding earlier in the day. Also, my legs are just really tired all the time now, and I'm kind of just accepting that. So today is day 9. But not only is it day 9, it's actually Christmas Day. So I've chosen a workout on Zwift called No Nonsense, which is 36 minutes long. And yeah, I'm up a little bit earlier to hopefully just get it out of the way before all my family come over. There's actually quite a few other people on Zwift. I'm also feeling slightly ill, but I'm sure we'll be alright.
Yeah, we're definitely ill. So I've been ill pretty much since Christmas Day, and the last 3 days I've basically just been doing the bare minimum on Zwift that I can, like an active recovery session that helps me just sort of spin for like 50 minutes, something like that. And it's really low intensity, and yeah, that's kind of all I can manage at the moment.
So it is now day 16 or 17. I think it's day 17. I've been ill since day 9, and I don't want to bang on about it, but essentially I have still been riding every day. What I've been able to do on those days is pretty limited. I've just been doing like zone 2 and active recovery stuff. Yesterday I did try and do a bit more of a intense workout, but it was like, yeah, it didn't end well. So in short, I will keep riding every day while I'm sick currently, just at a very low intensity, just to make sure I'm still doing something. And then when I feel better, we'll start training a bit harder again, and any days I've lost, I'll add on to the end of the 30-day challenge. I'm currently watching a documentary on the man who wants to live forever, but I don't really feel like I'm going to live for the next 5 minutes. I'm cycling with a box of tissues next to me because I keep needing to blow my nose. I literally have a cough sweet in my mouth. So today I'm trying my first group ride. Essentially they're these, I think they call them robo-pacers. This guy's called Miguel, but he essentially sets a certain pace. You stay with him for as long as you want, and it takes you round a route that's just randomly selected, and then you just try and stick with them, I guess. But there's a hell of a lot of people that do it, so I guess the idea is to have a bit more of a sociable thing with other people. One thing that is good about the group rides is that it's just nice to see there's lots of people that are around the similar level to you. Quite often on Zwift it feels like it's just full of people that are like super fast, and it can get a little bit demotivating when everyone's just cycling past you. I need to grab my tissues.
So it's now day 38 and I haven't cycled for the last 10 days. But let me explain. The truth is I just didn't get any better in terms of being ill. So on day 28, I made the call to give my body a bit of a rest and stop cycling. But here's the thing. I wouldn't even still be making this video if I didn't think some of the results were still worth sharing. First, let's talk totals. So over the 28 days, I burned nearly 15,000 calories, covered 657 kilometers, and spent just over 22 hours in the saddle. Now, here's the biggest takeaway for me. Despite being ill for about 18 of those 28 days, my VO₂ Max saw the biggest improvement it's ever seen since me wearing an Apple Watch. Now, I know the Apple Watch isn't exactly the gold standard for measuring things like VO₂ Max, but it is consistent. And the trend was pretty clear. There was a marked increase over the course of this month, which tells me personally one thing. The zone 2 low intensity stuff is what's missing from my training. And then there's also this. So I lost over 4 kilograms since starting this. What's even more impressive about that is I wasn't doing any of the normal exercise that I was because I just felt so bad. And I didn't lose any of my appetite or anything like that. And it was also over Christmas. But here are the cons. Zwift and my setup that I've got here in particular is very expensive. The Kicker Core trainer that I'm using was about £500 when I bought it. That did come with a year's free Zwift, which is why I haven't tried any other programs out there like Ruvi and things like that that might be cheaper. And you also need the bike to actually put on the trainer, so things do get quite expensive. With that being said, for me, the structured workouts, the training plans, the group rides, the robo pacers, and in particular the ability to set resistance via the trainer, so on the erg mode, yeah, that was a game changer for me because it allowed me to stay in things like zone 2 much easier. Also, I'm the type of person that enjoys that sort of feedback and the idea of those structured plans made by someone else. I just sort of like getting on it and completing the things that they've set for me. I don't think you need all of that to get started. I think if you just bought a cheap secondhand bike off Facebook Marketplace, did a lot of the zone 2 endurance stuff, watch TV while you did it like I did most of the time, you could easily do 90% of the stuff that I was doing throughout the month. I didn't need to leave the house. I didn't need to go to the gym or to a class. I didn't even need to cycle outside, and I basically just watched Netflix. For me, this was such an easy way to stay consistent, even when life gets in the way. My average session was only around 45 minutes, which isn't that much time out of your day, especially when I didn't need to leave the room that I even work in. I found it so much easier just being able to wake up on here for 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'm not spending the rest of the day panicking or worrying about when I'm going to fit my exercise in. I think whatever way you frame it, the outcomes have definitely been positive, and I'm 100% going to keep using indoor training to meet my fitness goals, and maybe you should give it a crack too.